Hey, what's up you guys? It's Naseem here, aka Seem the Dream, aka Nas Tech, and today I will be giving you guys my first impressions on the Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition. Now, if you guys didn't know, I am a huge fan of, possibly the biggest tech YouTuber that we know and love, Marques Brownlee. And what Marques Brownlee does every single year is, he gives a smartphone awards where, he gives different smartphones the best in whatever category they're in. Like, for example, the iPhone 12 mini was the best small phone of the year, etc. Things in different categories, where phones, excelled in different categories. And the very special phone that was able to get, the best award, presented by Marques Brownlee was the Galaxy S20 Fan Edition. Voila. So here you go, guys. Nas Tech presents the Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition. Now, when it comes to colors, the Galaxy S20 Fan Edition has 6 different variations of color, starting from cloud navy, cloud lavender, cloud mint, cloud red, cloud orange, and cloud white. And if I'm really being honest, you guys, I am very happy, that they added 6 different variations of color, for the simple fact that, if you watch my past videos, you know that I am a firm believer, and the more you pay, the more freedom you should have as far as options. And not only should you have more capabilities and storage, or many more important things, but you should always have more options as far as colorizing your phone and making it truly yours, and just not going with the basic colors or just having a limited option. And also, something that I liked about the colors was the simple fact that not only did they have many colors, but they had many different variations of colors, according to primary colors like blue, red, every single color that the typical person will like. Samsung has provided it for us, so like I said, it's definitely an A+ in my book. Now, when it comes to the feel of this phone, based on first touch, I would definitely say that even though this phone is plastic, Samsung has really done a great job in, making it feel like a more premium plastic. Like, in my honest opinion, this kind of feels more like matte, but that is just how good of a job that Samsung has always been able to do, even with previous phones, with their plastic. And like I said, plastic is a great option because it's much more durable, and this is a cheaper phone, so it definitely best suits Samsung as well. And also, tying more into the color, the fact that the colors are much more cloudy, you definitely cannot see that it's as plastic as it is. And like I said, it makes for more of a matte finish. But the fact that it is plastic like I said, Samsung has really done a great job. So no complaints as far as the durability, and no complaints as far as the cheaper feeling. And also, according to first touch, this phone was definitely a little lighter thanks to that plastic back. But it wasn't too lightweight, like it didn't feel too cheap, but it definitely was on the lighter side. Like, I wouldn't say as far as weight, it felt very premium, but it definitely, it didn't feel completely cheap. And again, according to first touch, they even implemented a 120 Hz refresh rate screen. So that it just made everything feel much more smooth and much more premium than it actually is, you know, based on the actual components of the phone. But like I said, Samsung has always done a very great job. So again, as far as the feel, I definitely give this thing an 100%. And now when it comes to storage on the Galaxy S20 Fan Edition, we only have two variations, you know, the starter being 128 gigabytes with our finisher being 256 gigabytes. And if you watch any of my previous videos, you know that, you know, when it comes to storage, I would usually get on, you know, a company for, you know, limiting the storage on their device. But in all honesty, I really think it works here. And what I mean by that is, you know, this is a mid-range phone. So the average person who goes out and buys a mid-range phone is also the type of person, you know, who usually doesn't need 1 terabyte worth of storage or even 512 gigabytes worth of storage. Like the main people who buy mid-range phones definitely can do well with 128 and 256. So that's why I say it works very well here, because, you know, the average consumer buys mid-range phones, while, you know, people who want like a crazy amount of storage, they usually get the top tier flagship phone. So according to this market, I think Samsung has really worked around and really implemented a right variation of storage. And when it comes to the physicality of the Galaxy S20 Fan Edition, it has a height of 151.7 millimeters with a width of 69.1 millimeters and a thickness of 7.9 millimeters. And again, based on first touch, I definitely love the fact that, you know, they made this phone pretty big. I really feel like, you know, it really felt good, especially with someone who has big hands like me. And if I'm really, you know, have like a minor complaint, it would definitely be the fact that they kind of made it a little bit too thin. Like, I feel like if this phone was thicker, it would definitely feel, you know, more full in the hands. Like, I'm not really a fan of a phone that's very thin, for the simple fact that, you know, for the people who don't want to rock a case, it's very uncomfortable to hold. And like I said, it's not nothing wrong with the physicality, but I really do see some potential moving forward, especially, you know, the fact that a lot of companies, including Samsung, want to make, you know, skinnier phones. Like I said, it's cool, but it doesn't really feel that comfortable in the hands. So like I said, a lot of potential that could be done when it comes to the physicality of this phone. Now, when it comes to the display of the S20 Fan Edition, we have a 120 Hertz 6.5 inch FHD Plus Dynamic AMOLED Infinity display with a screen resolution of 3200 by 1440 with 407 pixels per inch. And when it comes to the display on this phone, I would definitely say that Samsung has really nailed it, you know, as far as the color, as far as the vibrancy, you know, and it was very bright. Now, one complaint that I kind of did have, you know, based on my first look, was the fact that, you know, Samsung didn't really do a good job, you know, when you turn the brightness down. It kind of was way too dark, you know, like whenever I was in bed at night, you know, based on my first look with this phone, it kind of didn't do as well as, you know, like the iPhone or the Google, you know, as far as, you know, turning down the brightness and just doing well whenever I turned it down in the dark. Now, when it comes to the front facing camera on the S20 Fan Edition, we have a 32 megapixel front facing camera, and on the back we have a triple camera system with a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 12 megapixel wide angle, and a 8 megapixel telephoto camera with up to 30 times zoom. And based on first looks, I would definitely say, as far as the spec sheet goes, this camera is very impressive, especially for a mid-range. And I definitely cannot wait to test it out in my full review. Especially, you know, I want to see if the 30 times zoom is, you know, gimmicky, or it's a very practical use for, you know, just every day. And now when it comes to additional specs, that are also very important, you know, when it comes to purchasing this phone. The Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition has a 4500 milliamp hour battery. It supports wireless power share. It supports 5G. It has a 7mm 64-bit octa-core processor, which I must say is very good. But like I said, you know, with these additional specs, I definitely have to test it out in my full review. And you know, it's not something that I can really just go, you know, give my full opinion of based on first impressions. And based on my first impressions on the Galaxy S20 Fan Edition, I would definitely say that, you know, when looking at the spec sheet, this is definitely the best mid-range that I have seen in a while. You know, from the camera to the display to the feel, etc. This phone feels like a flagship disguised as a mid-range phone. And if you guys liked my first impressions on the Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition, be sure to like this video, you know, share, subscribe, show as much support to the channel as you can. It's very appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.